How are you, Dr. Dana?
I'm very good. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be with you. And I fell in love with Egypt the first time that I came to your country, and I hope that I can come again. I have, as you can see, very good friends there. And of course, you are welcome to come to Romania. We will do our best to increase our mobility programs, so we will have more staff traveling between our two countries.
Thank you, Dr. Dana. It was our pleasure welcoming you in Egypt, and it's our pleasure having you today in such a session. Thank you for accepting our invitation, and thank you for your time. We are looking forward to listening to your interesting session, and all staff members are already attending. We are sure that we will have very interesting session today. I don't want to consume your time, so just to start, and then we can have time for discussion and comment by the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sarah. It has been my pleasure to work with you also. All right, so dear colleagues, let's start. It is an informal meeting, let's say. I will share with you what has been my experience regarding scientific databases and how to create researcher profiles and how to publish in well-indexed publications. Of course, it is a very broad subject, and I will not be able to cover everything. But I hope I can give you some indications, and some of them I'm sure that you know already, but maybe there will be some new things that can help you during your research career. So without further delay, because we only have 1 hour, I would like to present what I would like to talk about during this presentation. Of course, why do we need to publish? Why do we need to disseminate the results of our scientific research? The types of scientific publications, I'm sure you know them already, but I will very briefly talk about them. Indexation levels of scientific publications. And then what is of most interest, main scientific databases and their characteristics. And I will be only talking about 3 or 4 main databases. How to create an individual research profile in different databases. And some words about indexes applied to researchers and to journals, just to have a broad idea. It's a lot of information. I hope I can present everything as clear as possible. All right. Well, of course, we need to publish because we are researchers, we are academic staff, and we are evaluated based on our publications. They are essential for a career in academics or in research. They are mandatory. If we have research projects, we have to disseminate the results. And they are a measure of the visibility of the researcher, nationally and worldwide. So if we want to contact someone in our research field, where do we go? We go on Google Scholar. We choose the person with the highest Hirsch index, let's say. And then we contact the person, and we are sure that that person is a very good expert in that field. At least this is how I do it when I want to contact an expert from a different country that obviously I don't know before. This is how I do it. I go for the most visible person in that country on my field, and I contact him or her, and I propose the partnership for the project or whatever project I work on. So visibility is very important. And with the digital means of today, everything is transparent. Everything is worldwide. So it is very important to have a very good researcher profile, to build a very good researcher profile, because it can be built. Well, regarding the types of scientific publications that we can publish in, of course, we have the scientific journals. We have also the conference proceedings. The proceedings or the conferences can publish both in proceedings volumes or in journals, but usually they publish in proceedings volumes. Or other types of publications, I don't know, websites, data repositories, other kinds of publications, but these are the main two: scientific journals and conference proceedings. As for the indexation levels of these publications, of course, we have the highest indexed worldwide, which is Clarivate Analytics, our former ISI Thomson Reuters database, which is located in USA in Philadelphia. They are the most respected and used database for scientific indexing. Of course, we have other databases such as Scopus, ProQuest, Index Copernicus, and a lot of others, among which Google Scholar. It depends from country to country which databases are chosen as relevant. But from what I understood, both in Romania and in Egypt, Clarivate Analytics, Scopus, and maybe Google Scholar are the most widely used. And of course, we have also not indexed publications, journals. Oh, sorry, there is a mistake there. Journals or conference proceedings. We can also publish in that, but of course we get lower points or fewer points for those publications. But each publication starts like that, not being indexed anywhere, and then it strives to get indexed and it gets better visibility. So we are trying to aim to the best indexed publications. Well, now that we had a brief overview of on why we should publish and where we can publish, I would like to discuss very briefly the main scientific databases, and I will start with Clarivate Analytics, former ISI Thomson Reuters. It manages what is called the Web of Science, the online platform that has some important databases. First of all, they have the Web of Science core collection, including several databases that you can see here. Science Citation Index Expanded, Social Sciences Citation Index, and Arts and Humanities Citation Index. This is the core collection. The journals that are indexed in these databases, let's say, have impact factors. They are the best indexed in Web of Science. They are, we can call them journals indexed in Web of Science, because Clarivate Analytics also has what is called Emerging Sources Citation Index. This is a database comprised of journals that are applying to be indexed in the core collection. They are under evaluation and they do not have impact factor. So this is a very important difference between the core collection and the emerging sources. The emerging sources journals are indexed in Clarivate Analytics. They are journals, so they are better ranked than conference proceedings because they are journals, but they do not have impact factors yet. Because the impact factors are calculated for a journal, I mean, they are calculated on the citation of articles in the journal for the previous 3 or 4 years, something like that. And these journals that are included in the emerging sources are not indexed for so long, so they cannot calculate the impact factor for them yet. But once they will be accepted in the Web of Science core collection, they will have impact factor. So this is why maybe sometimes you will encounter journals that are, you can find them in Clarivate Analytics, in Web of Science, they are indexed there, but they do not have impact factor. This is why, because they are part of the emerging sources. All right, so apart from these two databases, they also have a database called Conference Proceedings Citation Index, which indexes all the conference proceedings volumes. We have, such as our conference that we organized this year, it's also indexed in this conference proceedings. And once, from my experience, once once Clarivate Analytics indexes one edition of the conference, then it will be easier to index the following. They usually index the following volumes. So it is difficult for a conference to be selected for indexing, but if it gets selected, then usually it keeps indexed. If you have any questions, please write them down, and we will have a session at the end. All right, again, let's get further. Another database that Clarivate Analytics has is the book citation index. So you can index also books. They can be indexed in Clarivate Analytics, and you can gain greater visibility. And they also have a database for patents. You know, you can find there mostly American patents, but also worldwide patents. This is very helpful if you are looking for patents, or to describe the innovation part of a patent. You need access to the patents. So this is another important database. And the last one, it's called Journal Citation Reports. Well, it is a product of Clarivate Analytics that publishes yearly, each year, I don't know, in June or in September, something like that. They publish the indicators, the impact factors, the relative influence scores, things like that. So it's a scientometric indicators database. It's a report. It comprises all Clarivate Analytics journals and conferences with the updated impact factors, because the impact factors are updated yearly, each year, and they are published through this report, Journal Citation Report, which is of course paid. Everything here is paid, but we can somehow get this information without paying for them for it, and I will show you how. If we want to verify if a journal is indexed in Clarivate Analytics, we have the master journal list, which is available at this website. I will share with you the presentation, so or you can just Google it, master journal list, and you can insert there the title of the journal, or the ISSN or something, and you can find it if it is included or not in Clarivate Analytics, because a lot of journals say on their website that they are included in Web of Science, but they are not. So it's always good to check. Well, this was the brief presentation of Clarivate. Let's go to Scopus. Well, Scopus for Romania is the second important database. It's an Elsevier product, Elsevier publishing house. Of course, you know the website. I will insist more on the Scopus profile, and we will talk more of Scopus then. Another important database is Google Scholar. Well, Google Scholar is a particular database because it's a search engine. It collects all the information that it can collect on the internet. So it's not, some countries do not consider it a scientific database, but it's a very good data repository. It's a very good, yeah, it can be named a database, but it's not very scientific. You can search for articles, theses, books, patents, citations, authors. So you can search for mostly everything you need for research. And it's a very good tool. We will come back to it later. We also have ResearchGate. ResearchGate, it's a professional network for scientists and researchers where members voluntarily share their articles and results. So you can find on ResearchGate a lot of free articles ready to be downloaded for free. And you can see what other authors are working on because they share their projects and things like that. So it is a very good portal also. And because we have little time, I'm sorry, it's a very broad subject and I could talk about it more, but I'm trying to stick to the plan in order to finish in 1 hour. How to create individual researcher profiles on these platforms? Well, generally, each platform has its own profile. Why is that? Because, for example, Clarivate Analytics lets you create a researcher profile, and it shows only the publications that are included in Clarivate Analytics. Scopus, the same. You can create an author profile for Scopus, and it shows only your publications or others which are included in Scopus. So they do not collect information from other databases. This is why you have to create researcher profiles for each of them. Google Scholar is different. Google Scholar gathers information from all databases, all that is available on the internet and Google search engine can find. And I will present how to create the researcher profile for Google Scholar because it's mostly the same with all the others. You should begin with that. You should create a free Google Scholar account. You have to create your basic profile first. Then add your affiliation information, your university and institutional email address. This is very important. You cannot create a Google Scholar account without this institutional email address. They want to confirm your account. They will confirm your account on this email. So you have to have an institutional email. So you cannot create this account with a Yahoo or Gmail email address. You have to choose very wisely the keywords that are relevant to your research interests, because others will find you based on these keywords. So you can put as many keywords as you want. I think I didn't try to put a lot, but I think you can put, I don't know, at least 5 or 7. You can provide a link to your faculty homepage if available, or to your own website if you have one. And Google collects all the articles that it finds on the internet with your name. If there are other researchers with the same name as yours, Google collects their article also. It's a wise thing to add them at this point, because you will be able to delete them later. But I advise you to include everything at first, because sorry, you will have a chance to delete them later. It's a good thing that Google Scholar provides you with groups of articles, so you can add them in a bunch, in a group. You don't have to add them one by one. You can also search for articles, to do a search, and then you can add them one by one, or you can add them manually. Let's say you publish something at a conference, you presented a paper at the conference, and it is not yet available online, so Google didn't find it yet, but you can add it manually, and when it finds it, it will complete some details, but you have it earlier in your profile. So this is the advantage of adding it by hand, manually. You can add a photo to your profile, and of course you can add more information. Then it is important, in my opinion, to make your profile public, to increase your visibility, and everybody can search for your name and see your profile. And also you can add co-authors. You add them, and this increases your network visibility, your Google, if Google finds an article of your colleagues, of your co-authors, it will automatically refer also to your website. So it's a good thing to have co-authors added to your profile. All right, before going further, let me please show you my Google profile, because I don't know how else to do this. This is how it looks, a Google profile. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, I just wanted to confirm. So you can see that they wanted my email at UPB, at my university. I put here some keywords for my research interest, let's say. I added my articles here. You can order the articles by year. You see that when the article is published, Google automatically puts also the year. Or you can order the articles by citations, how many times the article was cited. And here there are some metrics of your publications. The H index that we will approach later, and the I index that we will also approach later. You can see here that there are graphs with how many citations by year. These are the number of citations by year. So for example, in 2020, I had 59 citations for all my articles. And these are my co-authors, let's say, that you can edit, of course. And you can just copy this link and paste it to your website, to your CV, to whatever. And when you send the website, anyone can just check your professional activity very easily by looking at this public profile. All right. Let's go to Scopus. Well, it's almost the same. You have to have access to Scopus. In Romania, we have access, the major universities and research institutes have access to these databases. We have access paid by our Ministry of Education. So this is why I have access to these databases, but otherwise these databases are paid. So you don't have access as an individual, only if you pay. Let me show you my Scopus profile. It looks like this. I inserted my name, Deselnicu Dana, and you can see here that it found it found my name, my complete name, but also it found some, they are called aliases, because some publications can will also put half of your name, or maybe your surname and initial, or maybe your name in another order if you have a long name. So it is important to find your name and to create your unique profile. Because this way you will gather all your publications in one place in your profile, and you will not be confounded with other people. Of course, I have a sister, I have several cousins that work, that they are researchers. I have my mother that is a researcher. This is why I have many people with my name here in Scopus. But it is important to isolate your profile. And you can see here that Scopus also calculates an index, H index, but it's calculated only for the publications that are available in Scopus. And it also has only 43 articles or publications in Scopus. So it doesn't count publications in other databases. All right. Just for you to know that also you can do it on ResearchGate. You can create such a profile also in ResearchGate. I wrote you how to do it here. It's very easy. You can connect with Facebook, with LinkedIn, with Orchid, I think. You have to enter your name, institution, email address, and choose a password, and there it is. If I can show you ResearchGate. Yes, this is how ResearchGate looks like. ResearchGate is very good because it has a lot of free articles. Usually on the other scientific databases, you have to pay for the articles, for the full text article. They only give you the abstract of the article. And the article is about 32 euros or something like that. So it's a lot of money. But here on ResearchGate, you can find a lot of free articles. Of course, they calculate some indexes also. You can find a lot of articles, your own articles here. They ask you if you want to upload them in full text. You can request, if you find an interesting article and you find it on ResearchGate, you can request the full text from that author. So it's a very valuable platform also, ResearchGate. You see here that it has articles, conference papers, data, research. You can also update databases, databases and things like that. Another important portal, research portal, is Academia. It is a scholarly platform. It is very much like ResearchGate. Researchers share papers across the world, of course. It is free. It's very similar to ResearchGate. I think that maybe ResearchGate is more professional, but academia is also very nice and interesting. I think I opened something here. I'm sorry. Here. Yes, so this is academia. You have to create also a profile. You again find a lot of full text articles. Well, I'm not insisting very much on these two platforms because for a professional researcher, they are not very important. They are important if you do scientific literature review. You can find a lot of information on these two platforms. But other than that, for visibility, the more professional databases such as Clarivate and Scopus are more important, in my opinion. All right, if we are to go forward, yes, I put here also the link to the creation of the profile for academia. Another important platform that I advise you to make such a researcher profile, which is very important, I think, it's also ORCID. It's a permanent unique identifier for researchers. It's an acronym for Open Researcher and Contributor ID. It is newer. It was founded in 2012. You can sign up for free for an ORCID account. They will ask for your name, email address, and that's it. You can create it very easily. Why do we have to create these profiles? Because they can be inserted in other platforms. For example, at our university, we have a platform that is gathering all results, research results of all the researchers in the university. And we have to insert these profiles to our platform. So it collects all the data from these profiles. So for us at Polytechnica, it's mandatory to have researcher profiles on all these platforms. Because some platforms collect some information, other platforms collect other information. So this is why if you have profiles on more platforms, you will have more information gathered, almost all of it. Let me please show you also the ORCID account. I'm sorry, I have to switch between screens. No, I think this is the Publons. Well, maybe I didn't open it, sorry. I let the link there. You can just go there and just create the ORCID account. This one that I have on my screen now, it's the Clarivate Analytics Publons platform. It's another platform, the most important, I think, for professional researchers. So Clarivate Analytics, or Web of Science, developed what was called Researcher ID, that you can see here, Researcher ID. In April 2019, it transformed to Publons. As you can see, they developed a new platform, and this is the new platform, Publons. It It also kept the old researcher ID, but as you can see, it was very difficult to remember this long name here. So they did it like this. Publons only gathers your results from Clarivate Analytics, from Web of Science. And it has here, I don't know, 70 publications, how many times my articles were cited, how much is my H index in Clarivate. So it only calculates the H index in Clarivate, and how many reviews I have made also for publications which are indexed in Clarivate. And here they put some of my articles. You can calculate all kinds of impact factors. It shows how many reviews, how many citations. They have a lot of metrics, average citations per year, whatever your university is interested in, you can find it here. Publons has two windows, let's say. They have the public view and the private dashboard. We are looking now at my private dashboard because I think I'm, yes, I am logged in. And it shows here if you were a reviewer, for what publications have you reviewed the thing. And another important and interesting things that Publons has, but I don't find it here. You will have to take my word for it. It can generate a CV. It can generate automatically your CV, your researcher CV, and it downloads to your download folder, and it shows all your contributions in Clarivate. So maybe this is an important thing.
أنا سألتها الولية ما بتردش. إيه؟
هاني بعد إذنك ممكن نعمل ميوت؟ Can we mute the voices please so we can follow? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, this is what I was telling you about earlier, and I was showing you on Publons. With the Publons credentials, mainly email and password, you can also access EndNote and Web of Science. You can access all three products with the same credentials, because they, of course, they all belong to Clarivate. And maybe it's easier for the researchers to have one sign-in for three products. And I also put for you here the link for creating your own researcher ID or Publons profile. This is also very important because, for example, my university will not take into consideration whatever I write in my CV or in my list of publications unless they appear on Publons, unless I can prove them by showing my Publons profile. They will not take my word for it. They want to see it on Publons, and of course that is perfectly all right. But it means a lot of work to customize your Publons profile. Well, not a lot of work because they are very good, but some work. All right. I think that's about it for creating researcher profiles. It's a lot of work, but I think it's very important to have these profiles correctly built up. If I was to comment a little on the research profiles, of course, Google Scholar is the most is the broadest and the most inclusive, let's say. This is why the H index is higher on Google Scholar than on any other platform. Let's see for the indexing. Well, for the evaluation of researchers and academics, there have been developed a lot of indexes to measure our activity. Some of them, one of the most important indexes, as you already know, I'm sure, it's the H index. It was developed by a guy named Hirsch. He is a scientist at in USA at San Diego University, and it is defined as the maximum value. Let me explain very easily. If you published, for example, if you have 2 articles that each have at least 2 citations, they have been cited at least twice, you have an H index of 2. So, an author's H index, it's the number of publications of that author that each have at least that number of citations. They are cited at least that number of times. So, for example, if we have, I don't know, 10 articles and 5 of them are cited at least 5 times each one, then we have an H index of 5, right? Let me show you this. Let me show you this on my Google account. So as you can see, I have a lot of articles. They don't say here how many. If I rank them, if I order them by citation, how many times they were cited, you see that my highest cited article was cited 40 times. Of course, it was a Q1 journal, so it received a lot of citations over time. I have an H index of 12, right? For all years, and since 2016, I have an H index of 10. It means that I have at least 12 articles that each of them has been cited at least 12 times. I hope this is clear. And to explain the I index, the I index is only used by Google. It was invented by Google and it's only used by Google Scholar. It shows the number of articles that have at least 10 citations. So I have exactly 14 articles that have at least 10 citations each. Well, I index is less used than H index. How can we increase the H index? Well, the H index is a measure of your visibility and of your work's quality. Because if you write good articles, if we write good articles, then people will cite us, right? They will be interested in our work and they will cite our articles and our books and so forth. So what is being practiced? Well, it's not exactly, I don't know, maybe a good practice, but I'm telling you what's going on in real life. Either we make groups of co-authors and we cite our works because we work together with our colleagues, and of course we cite their works and they cite our works. Maybe we have a larger group of co-authors and colleagues. We are in the same field, we know each other, maybe we are in different countries, for example, myself and you in Egypt, and of course we can cite in our publications your articles, and this way we can increase your H index. Google Scholar also counts self-citations, meaning that you can write articles and cite of your own previous work because you build on your previous work. Maybe you wrote something 2 years ago on, I don't know, logistics of whatever. I'm sorry, I'm not a logistic expert, but I know that you are. So, and you want to continue with that research this year after 2 or 3 years. And of course, you can cite your work, your previous work. And Google Scholar will also count that as citation. But for example, it will take it into account for increasing the H index. So your H index will increase. But for example, my university does not take into account self-citations for promotion. So if I want to go to a higher degree, for example, to professor, because I'm only associate professor right now, I have one more step to go to professor, full professor, they will not take into account my self-citations. But for other things, you can report self-citations. So maybe in justified cases, you can cite your own work. If you want to cite your own work, which articles should you cite? Of course, you should cite the articles in the field of the work that you are doing now. So it has to be connected to what you're doing now. But a wise thing to do is also to, if you have built such a Google Scholar profile, just order your articles based on citations, and you go down. You see here that you have an H index of 12, and you go down to, well, to 12, because obviously, if let me explain. I don't know how to explain this. I'm sorry. I have never delivered such a lecture, so I'm not very. Please be patient with me for a little.
Started, by the way, and we are enjoying. And as you mentioned at the beginning, it's informal meeting. So feel free to express yourself in a way that you prefer.
Thank you, Dr. Sarah. I was a little stressed at the beginning. So, dear colleagues, as you see, I have the most cited article. My most cited article is 40. It has 40 citations. So I can as well have an H index of 40 here, right? I could have 40 articles, each cited 40 times. This is my highest H index at the moment that I could reach. But obviously it is not the case, because look, my second article is only cited 29 times. So, and the others 24, 19, 18. So I will not so easily reach 40. I only reached until 12. I have 12 articles, each cited 12 times. In order to increase this H index, it makes little sense to cite articles that are very low, that have few citations or none. It makes sense to cite articles in this area that could grow from 10 to 12 maybe, in this area to grow from 12 to 13, in order to increase your H index. I don't know if I explained correctly. Of course, it's a long work. You cannot do it in a year. It's a lifetime. It's a long career. And but you should keep an eye on that. You should cite your articles that have the potential to increase your H index. I could reach an H index of 13, for example, if I would have one more articles with 13 citations. You understand what I mean? What else I can tell you about these indexes? Well, the I index that I was telling you earlier, it shows the number of publications with at least 10 citations. Some institutions care for this index also. And I will go to the final part of my presentation. Indexing applied to scientific research. And first, I would like to talk about journal impact factors and journal ranking. I know it's a lot of information and it's, well, I will try to present as clearly as possible. What is journal impact factor? Well, it's the same as the H index for researchers, but it's for a journal. So it's an index calculated so to show if the articles that were published in that journal were appreciated by researchers, if they were cited, if they were interesting, if they were read. So it is calculated, it has the formula, and to give you an example, an impact factor of 1 means that on average, the articles published 1 or 2 years ago in that journal have been cited 1 time each, at least 1 time each, right? Well, it is no concern of ours, but word of the wise, if you want to publish an article in a high-ranked journal, they will never ask for this, but they want it, and they will return your articles as many times as possible until you get the idea. The idea is that you should cite articles from their publication that were previously published in order to increase their impact factor. So, yeah, it is not a very loyal, I don't know, it is not a best practice, but it is a common practice for journals to ask new authors that want to publish articles in their journal to cite previous articles that were previously published in that journal in order to increase the journal impact factor. Where we can find journal impact factors? Well, as I mentioned earlier, Clarivate publishes the journal citation report each and every year, but it is paid. If you want to find this information freely, you can go to these 2 websites, the websites that I put here. Resourcify is one of them, and BioxBio is the other. You can input the name of the journal and or the ISSN, and it will show you the impact factor on the previous year. So the most recent one. Impact factors are obviously calculated for the previous year. This is how you can find the impact factors. Another index, let's say, that is applied to articles and to journals is the article influence score. It is calculated not for a journal, but for an article. And it determines the average influence of a journal article over the first 5 years after publication. It is not that important, but for example, in Romania, some very prestigious universities, including my own, is asking for this article influence score for our publications. The article influence score, because it is calculated for 5 years, is smaller than the impact factor, and well, it is more relevant, let's say, for the visibility of a researcher and for the quality of his or her work. I don't know if you use it in Egypt, but we do use it in Romania. These were for indexes for journals and articles. Now, I would like to explain what is with the quadriles, the Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 for the journals, research journals. All journals indexed in Web of Science are split into scientific domains, depending on the scientific domain of the journal, right? Because a journal, I know that you are starting now a journal, or to give you as an example, our journal, which is free of charge and is indexed in different databases, not in Clarivate yet. Our journal, for example, covers some domains such as entrepreneurship, management, marketing, human resources. So you see that it covers different domains. So the journals are split into these domains that are called subject categories. Each domain then is divided into 4 quartiles, which rank the journals from highest to lowest based on their impact factor. And these are the 4 quartiles. The Q1 is the first 25% of the journals in the list. The Q2 is the next 25%. So the Q1 is the best journals, is comprised of the best journals, best index. They have the best impact factors. The following 25%, of course, also very good journals. Q3 is 50 to 70%, and the Q4 is 75 to 100. So the lowest impact factors. What is important to remember is that a journal can be found in different subject categories because it, as I told you earlier, it covers different domains. So it can be found in different domains, and it can have different rankings in different domains. It can be part of different quartiles for different categories. For example, our journal can be placed in the, I don't know, Q1 category for marketing, for example, marketing area, and it can be found in Q2 category for logistics, for example. The same journal, right? And it is a common practice that the researchers report the best ranked quartile of a journal. Because it's perfectly legal, let me show you such a list. I think I have it somewhere. So, this is the list. I'm sorry, it's in Romanian. I got it from our ministry. You can see here, Web of Science category, from acoustics to whatever. So all the subject categories, meaning the domains, the scientific domains. The journal, the revista, which is journal, you have a lot of journals. The ISSN, this is the quartile, zona is quartile, zone. We called it red zone, yellow zone. First quartile is red zone. The second quartile is yellow zone. So you can see that, for example, ultrasonics, the journal that is called ultrasonics can be found in acoustics, and it's on the red zone. It's in the first quartiles in acoustics, and also maybe ultrasonics also we can find the same journal in another category. For example, I don't know, electronics, I don't know. And maybe there it is not ranked so well. Maybe there it can be on the yellow zone or on even the gray or white zone. So this is the first 25%, this is the second 25%, so up to here is 50%, and then the rest is the rest of the 50%, Q3 and Q4. And it's the same with all the categories, all the domains. You see here the domains, and it's the same, agriculture, multidisciplinary. So if you look for a certain journal, you will have to have such a table, or you can also find these the location of the journal on quartiles in Clarivate or in Web of Science if you have access to that. If not, as I told you, we have this list from our ministries of education, and I'm sure that that you can find this also in your country one way or another. If not, I will be happy to assist. When I receive them, I can send them to you. Well, sorry. And I think I reached the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. I will stop sharing. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. I'm sorry, I have to plug my computer. Just 1 second. I have to plug in my laptop. I didn't. Sorry. Yes, I'm here.
Thank you, Dana, for your interesting presentation. We really enjoyed it. And actually, just to know that it was very important topic to all our staff to know more about the citation and indexing system, because actually it's a very important part in our career required by academy. And all the time we ask Dr. Sandra many questions concerning this issue. So I think now it's more clear to them, and many of the questions that we raised many times and returned to Dr. Sandra to be clarified are now clear to us. I hope that this presentation and its record can be a guide for them in their career. And two main things I would like to highlight here. Number one, It's about techniques. It's not only research, because as you mentioned, we have some techniques by which we can increase our Google Scholar citation or any other citation tool, because actually we might have two researchers have the same work with the same quality, but one with high citation and another one with not high citation. This is due to the techniques, and this is due to how we can utilize our work. And definitely after what you mentioned today, I learned many techniques that I need to work on in order to maximize the citation of my publications, because it's not a matter of just having good work and post it in the Google Scholar or any other tool. It's about how we can work on it in order to make it better and better. The second thing I would like to highlight here, that the importance of this issue already highlighted by Arab Academy in many contexts. The most important thing that recently we announced that we have a reward system to whom already have specific percentage of citations. What I can tell that they need to know more about this reward system. دكتور مايو ودكتور آية بس ثواني. دكتور مايو ودكتور آية just mute. دكتور مايو ودكتور آية بس ميوت ثواني بس. So sorry for that interruption, because other meeting already started here, so I'm trying to manage to stop their discussion. So what I need to say that we have in Arab Academy a reward system, and this is something I need to highlight to all staff members today, and it will be activated from this month. That's why they asked all staff members to activate and to update their Google Scholar, because they have like ranking system with the skill. According to the number of citations you have, the reward system will be applied. So we started from a specific number of citations with a specific reward, and the reward increases as long as your citation increase. And they judge this from one year to another, and they have like top 10 in each year. So it will be a great competition for them. It's win-win situation from all aspects to the academy, because it's very important to the ranking of academy, to us as a staff member, whether in terms of professional career or in terms of financial reward. So for me, it was very clear presentation. I don't have any questions. Just I would like to highlight the importance of today's session on academic base and on professional base. If Dr. Sandra or any one of the staff have questions, please raise. And thank you again, Dana, for your participation and your time today.
Thank you very much. Very good comments. Yes, you are very, very right. Yes, I have very good colleagues, very good quality work, but they do not pay so much attention to this visibility things. And yes, they are not so visible. So it is an important part of our job to create these profiles and tend to them very well, because yeah, they are our image.
Yes, we need to know this. Dr. Sandra, the floor is yours now if you have questions or you need to manage the discussion by the team. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sarah. Thank you, Professor Dana. It was really very informative. And yes, we get a lot of questions because now we are pushing hard in the research area, especially because we are getting accredited by the AACSB, the American accreditation, which requires us to be visible researchers, as you're saying, and
yes,
have a number of indexed papers. So it was really informative and important to understand all the databases and the points you have been explaining. So I have two questions if no one else has. The first question is about the two websites where we can check the impact factor of the journal. It's only for mainly impact factors would be for journals, yani conference
yes.
proceedings.
No,
not,
they don't have impact. No.
But are cues related to impact factors?
Yes.
Yani once, yeah. Could you please briefly explain the connection between the impact factor and the cues?
Yes, as I told you earlier, the journals are ranked according to the impact factors for the Qs. I'm sharing my screen again. So this top here is made according to the impact factors. So the highest, the ultrasonic chemistry here has the highest impact factor. It has a higher impact factor than ultrasound in obstetrics and gynecology, and so on and so forth. So they are ranked according to the impact factors. So first, Clarivate calculates the impact factor of the journal annually. Then it splits the journals on categories according to the domain. For example, acoustics, all the journals in acoustics you can find here. And they rank the journals, they order the journals according to the impact factor in descending order. So the journal with the highest impact factors are in the red area. It's in the Q1. So journals in the Q1 have the higher impact factors. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but you cannot have a journal in Qs if the journal does not possess an impact factor.
No. In all the journals in Qs have impact factors, even the journals that are on the white or gray Q, meaning Q3 or Q4. They all have impact factors.
Okay.
And the highest impact factors are found in the journals in Q1 and Q2.
What about the other way around? Can the journal have a low impact factor but is not on the Q's list?
Yes, I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure of that, but in Romania, they don't really care about the journals that are on Q3 or Q4. They are only talking, and we are getting prizes and money even for journals in Q2 or Q3. Okay. So it is not relevant for them if a journal is in Q3 or Q4. They are only interested in Q1 and Q2, which they all have impact factors.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my question. If anybody else has questions.
I think I saw a question on the
chat.
On the chat, yes. If we have 2 institutes and 2 emails. I'm not sure about this. I didn't have this situation before, but I'm sure that you can update your profiles in order to reflect this, because it is a common situation. We have researchers which are working in our university and also in the Romanian Academy of Science, which is a scientific title, let's say, but they are doubly affiliated. They are affiliated to 2 institutions, and they put on their articles both their affiliations, and I'm sure that that it can be done on these profiles, but I don't know how. I'm sorry. I didn't have this problem before.
Any other questions? If not, then I would like to really thank you very, very much. It was really informative and beneficial. Appreciated.
Sure.
And we hope to see you again if you have time.
Yes, it would be my pleasure. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I will send the presentation. I see that we have some questions here. If I can share it, of course, I will share it to Dr. Sandra, and I'm sure she could forward it to you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, then. It has been a pleasure for me.
It was really a pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a nice day, and see you again soon.
See you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.